Hello, this is a short video to explain how to write the documentation for the options. After you're logged in, I would recommend opening two browsers. And let me make this a little bit smaller to see the URL. To have two browsers, it's maybe easier. So first we go to Event Ticket, the plugin. Then options. All the options are within the option tab. And the out token, the IP blocks, the ticket scanner will be done later. Now we are just focusing on the options itself. The options have a label, they have a key and a prefix but you can ignore this, it's just here to be for the users to read. And we're going to use the key, since it's unique on the page, as the name of the option and the images and the screenshots, so they are somehow a little bit related if we need to create them. So let's take as an example one of the options that are not done yet, like this here. So I need the screenshot from this area. I wouldn't make it too big. You can always resize your window to make it smaller, so that we have a compact screenshot instead of a huge one that is difficult to read on smaller displays. So you can do this both ways. You can resize your window to make it smaller, or in my case, just to not render all the elements, I'm just using the developer tools to create a smaller picture like this one. Going here, let's take this. I'm using Snagit, but of course you can use whatever you need or what fits. Then we grab a part like this. I'm marking the serial code, the option code, copying it, and then on the editor part, let's show you quickly the editor part. This is for Snagit, but you can use whatever you like. Then I'm saving this, call it option underscore, and then just pass in the key I was taken. That's it. Then going to the pages, all pages here. Sorry, posts. Let me hide some keywords to see it better. We don't need this, we don't need that. No comments, no keywords, nothing. And then it's much easier on a small one. So the easiest way is to duplicate an existing one. Unfortunately, with such a small screen, they're not showing all the options that you could have for cloning here. Let me see if I can activate this. Okay, I switched the language to English, and I also activated some additional options, so it's easier. So basically you start by cloning an existing one, and then all the settings that otherwise need to be done manually are already set. It's the draft one, we're going in with edit, or on the title it's the same. Closing, we don't need this. And what we're going to change is the title. So it was basically the label for the ticket download section, and then we can maybe within the purchase email. Okay, let's do this. You don't need to reuse this. Typically I'm reframing this anyway. Heading for the ticket download section within the purchase order email. To capitalize the first letter, it's basically just used to look better. If you don't do this or you forgot this, it's not so critical. It's really not a big thing, because I'm thinking anyway to make maybe the headlines, you will see this later, and the sidebar maybe all uppercase, then it doesn't matter. Or maybe it's even easier to read this that way. But for now I just started with this and I'm keeping this. Then we click on URL, changing the permalink, and we are changing this to the heading before. Then scrolling down to the image, feature image, replace the old one with the new one. In this case I'm uploading the just create or downloaded element here, and take this as a feature image, saving, and once the saved appear here, I'm clicking on the edit with Elementor to open the Elementor designer. Continue. Basically you don't need this. It's for the first time. This user I created for you was the first time it's the first time using this, so that's why everything appears here. We don't need this, also not the navigator. Then the headline is already here, the featured image is updated, and then we are changing just the wording, how it should be in this case. So we're explaining you can change the label for the heading within your purchase order email. Nothing more. This is a very simple one. Then we could publish this, and that's it. Sometimes we need much more than, but this is so obviously it's a label, and everybody will understand that the label will be displayed. And there's a side note here, since this is a picture they cannot search for it, but maybe it's helpful to add this also in here. The label will be placed, below the order details, so that they have an idea where it will be shown. So updating, great. In case we need another screenshot on the 9 dots, then we can choose elements in here. We just need the image, drag and drop the image where we want to have it, like here, and then we would upload a screenshot for the email where we can display this. In this case it's already there, I think. Let me search. It's this image here, but the arrow is not perfect here, so I'm going to upload this image without an arrow, so we can always use it if you want to show it where it's at. 1 second. So let me upload this too. Select, and it's placed here so that they have a feeling. Sometimes it's not obviously what this image is, so then in this case I'm going to advance, going to border, and then adding the box shadow. Then it looks more like an image. And in case you need even more elements, then click here. Let's add one more text editor, and this is how it looks like on the email, how it could look on the email. Could, because we don't control the background of the emails, we don't control the font size, and also not the font family. So this is just an example how it could look like on my environment, and it's basically about the heading here, downloads tickets, and that's it. Then we can go back, holding down with left and the opener, choose jumping directly to posts. How it look like, new tab. And that's basically it, how you create one page. We can always optimize them later, and the idea is first to get them done as much as possible. If you know more, if you understand the explanation better, if you ask me, I explain it to you and you have a better feeling, feel free to add more text. This just helps the people who are using this. The key is very important to be here, because I'm going to do it dynamically in the plugin, so that I'm just relating to this URL, and there should be a page that is matching this key. It's also taken here. Let's go back to the options. The options are now restructured, and I try to group them logical into the right category. We are not documenting the categories because it's always, we can always change them or rearrange them if it makes more sense. For now, they are all done, and I did just this one. So the next would be the PDF label download, also a text for a button or a link, depends on their settings, CSS style settings, and this is just the link that can be clicked. Let's take a look at the image. This is basically the link here. And in this case you can clone this again, just exchanging this image with the already existing one with an arrow showing to this. And if you would have then the label for the open tickets, you can change this to this. If these kind of screenshots are missing, just let me know. I'm going to make a big screenshot for this, and then we can always cut out what we need, and we have it, because it's always the same. It's within the email, it's on the checkout page, it's on the PDF ticket, and maybe on the ticket detail view. It's a page where the whole ticket is displayed, and that's it. More are not able. They are not able to see more, or they need an image within the administration area. This means I'm going back. This would be going here to the back button, and this is the admin of the plugin, the admin area of the plugin. Unfortunately, I have no tickets. You cannot open them. The plugin is not used on this environment. But you can take screenshots from here for these buttons, or you let me take screenshots if you need an open ticket. There will be a plus symbol once the ticket is here, and then you can see much more details, and I can take a screenshot for you, and then you have it also. So back to the options, going in here, let's walk through the options. These are labels. This is the heading. This is the link to click on it for the user, for the customer, so they know they're downloading a PDF ticket. The same for the tickets itself. This brings them to the order ticket view. Detail view is a new view where basically all the QR codes are just visible. It's already uploaded. Let me open this here. Once it's loaded, I can show this. This image is already there, and you can also go there. This is the ticket order detail view. That's a new one. You click on here, then you see the QR code. You click here, you see the next QR code. This is already here, this image. Then we have the status. The user, when the ticket will be generated or assigned to a purchased order item, and these are the states of the order itself. It's going to change in English once you log in. For me, somehow it's still on German. Don't know why. And then you can change this here. It will be in processing as an example. Completed. These are chosen by default, I guess. It's written here by default. It's processing and completed. And you can choose more. In case the user of the plugin wants to generate the tickets already before the payment was done, and they can be here. the ticket cannot be redeemed, even if it's created, if the purchase order is not paid. There's also an option for this, that you can skip this, but typically they want to have them paid. This is a premium feature, but we need to explain this, of course. If you activate this, then the tickets are generated to the purchase email and attached as a single email per ticket. They have the chance to say, okay, I want all the tickets as a single PDF. This can be added in here. If you activate both, you will get both. You get the single tickets and you get a bigger PDF with typically one page, one PDF ticket. They can decide when these PDF tickets can be attached. This can be chosen here, and you can choose more than one value. If you hold down the Control and Shift key at the same time and click, then you can select one or more options or deselect here. And this is the name basically of the email, and if they are marked or selected, only then these activated PDF tickets will be attached. So this basically belongs to them. Then we have the PDF setting. They can choose the font size, and they can tell the system, okay, please remove HTML. Sometimes they are using HTML within their labels. That's okay. Not all HTML tags are allowed, but some of them are allowed. And sometimes this makes problems with generating the PDF. So they can strip it, or show the HTML tags as text. Makes no sense, but if you want to identify where's the problem, this is a good option for debugging for the owner. And of course they can remove the unsupported HTML. They can say display the product variant name if their product is not a simple product but a variant product. This means maybe different dates or times for the same event. Then they can go with the variant product name, and if they activate this, then the variant name will be used additional on the PDF, or displayed additional on the PDF and on the ticket detail view as an additional information. It's typically also needed, and if they don't activate this, it's a little bit confusing. If the event is called Theater X and the variant name is 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock or so, then it makes sense to activate this also here to see both names for the user. Then they can activate to display the short description of the product. Activating this, it will be added to the ticket. The display the customer note. The customer can add a note during the purchase, and if they want to see this also on the ticket, they just need to activate this. They can hide the customer name and the address on the ticket. Typically it's printed, and these options deactivate this. They can hide the payment method. They can hide the ticket price if they do not want to share that they have different ticket prices for the same event. Also they can hide this, or they just do not want the employees to know what was the ticket price if it's a more high-class event or something like this. I don't know. They can deactivate this. They can display the purchased items of the order on the ticket. That's a feature that is basically printing all additional items on the order. They are using this if they're selling next to the entrance, the ticket itself, also some additional beverages or VIP launch access, something like this. And then they can activate this, and all the additional items will be printed with the amount on the ticket PDF. They can display the ticket list name. You can create lists, and you can organize your ticket numbers in these lists. Typically each product needs to have a list so that the system understands where the generated ticket number should be added to which list, to which ticket list. And sometimes they want to have the list displayed also on the ticket. Just activating this, and then they have it. They can display the ticket list description. The ticket list can have a description, and you can use this to add some additional information. If the ticket list is used by my customers, to organize, let's say, location or rooms, then they can add an additional information to this, like take the left, take the big room, or description how to go there. So they can add this, and they can add this also to the PDF. Then this is a text that is displaying the ticket position and the ticket total amount of tickets. One, if they are buying more than one ticket within one purchase. This is if they have group tickets or so, and then it's easier for them to understand. This is part of a purchase order with 5 tickets, and this is ticket number 1 of 5. This is what will be here. 1 of 5. On the next ticket it will be 2 of 5. And they can change this text here, no problems. And they can use these placeholders here in square brackets to display the amount and position. And they are also written in here. Then they can display the registered user value. This is really rare used, and basically they need to add an additional information to the ticket itself within the admin area. They go to the admin area and they add a user value in there, or they activate the ticket validator form. Nobody's using this, but it's available. And on the ticket validation form, the customer could add a user registration value. The label for the user registration value is also an option, and the default is asking for the email address, but they can ask for everything, shoe size or something like this. And I saw somebody selling it like this, that they can add a t-shirt size, and they're getting a t-shirt at the entrance for a special event. This could be also added to the ticket. They can hide the amount of redeemed tickets. If the plugin owner, the site owner, decides to sell tickets that can be redeemed more than once, like a membership card or a season pass or so, then they can activate this to be hidden. And it's then not visible there. And they can redeem this more and more. It will be written on the ticket scanner. Otherwise. This is also more experience, that this is more feature that bigger events are looking for. They have employees hired just for this event, and they do not want them to have too much knowledge about the customer, like hiding the payment information and so on. And then they are using these features. Again, all the features are not from me. They are all requests from customers. That's why so many. Typically, I add them once they're requesting a feature. I'm just adding them if it makes sense for at least one more person that could be a customer. Then we can hide the WordPress name from this here, so that they do not want to have this sometimes on the ticket. They can hide the block description of WordPress, the installation. The installation has a name and a description typically, can be hidden. They can hide also the URL to the WordPress website. It's all here. They can add to the ticket a logo. The logo will be placed at the end of the PDF ticket. Let me open one and I show you this. 1 second. So here's the on my development page. I just opened a demo ticket detail view. You see here the ticket name. This is a variant ticket. The dot is just a placeholder because I just tested something. This is typically the heading of the ticket, and most of the time it will be written ticket also. Then they have the variant name here displayed, in this case just a date and a fancy word. If they add a date to the ticket itself, it will be here. Then they have the description, the short description, and some other details written here, like redeemed and so on. And here's the button to download the PDF. And that's it. And they can add the logo. The logo will be at the end. They can add a banner. This is at the top. And they could add also a background image. This will be on the back side of this PDF ticket. Great. Okay, and these are the buttons. They can click on it, choose an image, and the image will be set. For the logo, for the banner image on the top of the PDF ticket, and they can choose a background. They can also choose, a great feature, they can add PDFs that are merged to the ticket and be added after the ticket information. And this is used for upcoming events, for some details about the event, or whatever they have in mind. They can upload a PDF, and this will be attached to the ticket itself. Then we came to translation area. It's just labels. Everywhere on this ticket and on the ticket detail view there are some labels and some elements that are displayed as a text to introduce the value or to explain the user who is looking at these labels, to explain what value is there, is this what they're looking at, and these are the labels. Since this plugin is not supporting yet fully a translation, that was the fastest and easiest way to give them a chance to add their own language and even own wording depending on what kind of business they're doing. Not everybody's doing events. We have 3 categories. We have event organizers, we have small club owners like a spa, a fitness club or something like this, and we have sport clubs. They're doing a little bit bigger events and they're looking for season passes and something like this. And so then they're choosing maybe a different wording. These are all just labels. Also for questions, do you want to redeem the ticket, yes or no? This label is used if they're doing basically a self-redeem option. There's an option that allows the customer to self-redeem their tickets. It makes sense if they're redeeming it by themselves and it's connected to a third-party service. They can add webhooks, and the webhook will be triggered. So in this case, maybe they're triggering an additional login creation or emails or something like this. And then this would be the self-redeem option. Can also be used, the self-redeem option, to sell not really tickets, but to sell some vouchers. And then they could use the voucher, they're redeeming, then they change this word to vouchers. And once it's redeemed, something happens, activating, adding money or so to their account. And you see HTML is allowed to a specific amount of text that are allowed typically also in WordPress. And if there is a placeholder used, this placeholder will be replaced live with the real amount, and then the placeholder is always added also to the description of the option itself. Yeah. Then the next ticket is not valid yet. Clear. Then we have the redirect section. They can redirect the user once they redeem their own ticket. This is also for self-redeem option. If they activate this, they can enter an URL, a thank you page, or a page that explains them, guides them through the solution, something like this. So they can activate this to have it running, and it only works if also a URL is added. Once a URL is added, they can always deactivate this, and the jump for the user will not happen. And this is basically only it makes only sense if you use self-redeem operation. Otherwise they are redeemed on the ticket scanner at the entrance and nothing happens. Then we have the event flyer. Within the product section, the flyer is automatically generated with the information about the product, description and so on. If they're using it or not, I'm not really sure, no feedback about this, but they could hide the WordPress name, the WordPress description, just like above, the WordPress URL. Then they can hide the ticket price, so they have a evergreen flyer for this event. Each event is basically always a product, WooCommerce, you need WooCommerce products, and you can switch on the WooCommerce product to be a ticket with this plugin. And of course for this the same, they can add a logo, an image for a banner, and also background image also to the flyer section or to the flyer PDF. They have the option to attach a calendar file to the order email. In this case there is a download button on the ticket detail page, and they can hide this. And as I showed you before, there was a link, let me jump back, there was a link here, download PDF ticket and download calendar file. This is the option. And if they do not want to have this here, they can deactivate this. The same for ticket badge, we are going to see in a few seconds. Then a label again, they can attach the calendar file, ICS file, directly to the WooCommerce purchase email by just activating this option. They can show the event date on the purchase email order if they would like to have this. Otherwise, they can remove this. Maybe this could be a part on the PDF ticket section. I need to restructure it. Show the event date on the product detail page for your customer. The same, so on the detail page for the products. This means on WooCommerce, they're shopping, they're looking around. And if they activate this, then the event date that is added within the product for the ticket will be also displayed in the shop. Hide the event date on the ticket, and then just clicking on this, it will not be printed on the PDF. And this is PDF, and this is email. So it will be additionally written on the email. Typically not needed, it's in the short description also. The user profile section, if they go to the user profile, the user can see, if activated, all the registered ticket numbers that they have bought already as a user. They can have the bought ticket numbers listed on the user profile. Both of them are almost the same, but here's registered numbered, and this is bought ticket. The bought tickets is typically used, the registered not that used that much. The bought ticket is always, you buy it with your user ID, it's listed in your profile once this is activated. The registered ticket is only visible if a ticket number is registered to a user directly. The administrator can do this on the ticket admin detail view. This means going back and opening a ticket and setting a user ID for this ticket. This can be done if they have a switch of seats, or they want to have a ticket but not this one, they're moving something, and the administrator and the shop owner needs to switch, and they do not want to switch the order but maybe a ticket also. And then they can add this also here. And the self-registration is only done by the ticket validator. And then they can, if they activate this registration option, they can register themselves for a ticket. Not really often used. Display the ticket detail page URL on the user profile. Can be activated, and then they have a ticket detail page next to the ticket number also. There's a difference between a ticket number and a ticket public number. The ticket number is just a ticket number itself. The public ticket number is a ticket number plus some additional information like the order ID and a timestamp to prevent users from guessing ticket numbers and register themselves maybe to the ticket. That's why there's a public one and a normal. Display the redeem information for the ticket makes only sense if you have passes, multi-passes or season passes, tickets that can be reused again and again for a specific period of time or for a specific amount of redeem operations. And then it could make sense to activate this here so they can see, yes, I can still use my ticket 12 times or 10 times. There is a ticket badge option. You can activate this to display the download button, and they can download the ticket badge, typically for events with speakers, and so they print out badges and handing the badges out to the people at the entrance. And so they can activate this. They add a label here for the download in the email or on their page. They can attach this to the WooCommerce emails if needed, and they can attach this badge file directly as a PDF also to the email. So this is the link to the badge, and this is the badge itself attached. It makes sense to deactivate the PDF file because the email maybe have a limit. If you allow, especially for sport events, to have more than 10 tickets bought, then they could end up, especially with clubs also, or people going, let's buy 30 tickets, then the size of the email is sometimes too big, and it will be not accepted by the email server on the other side, so the customers are not receiving their tickets. In this case, the owner of this shop should deactivate this, or could deactivate this, to prevent a too big sized email. Then attach the, so basically they should do this and not this, depending on what kind of event they're doing. Attach all tickets in one of an order to the WooCommerce email as one PDF. Instead of activating this, the single badge file, they could activate this or both, and in this case they will get one PDF with all the badges, one page after the other, and here they have, if they buy 10 tickets, then they have 10 additional ticket badge PDFs attached. They can create or set the size for the badge, and with a little bit HTML and the placeholders, they are listed here. They can create the look and feel from their ticket badge by themselves. This is the ticket badge editor. Just typing in here some information. Then we have a lot of options. We don't need to explain all of them. These options are coming from the ticket itself. So ticker, meta, validation, first, success. This will be a date as an example. But typically they experiment and they see what's behind this. And these are all from me. And then they have the order one, and they are coming from WooCommerce. We don't need to explain all of them in detail for now, because if you change this default element here, this already changed by me, but if you change the default element here, then typically you know what you're doing and you have a specific goal in mind, and then you know also the WooCommerce fields, or you look them up on the internet. I didn't receive questions for all the infos for now. Let's change this to, if you choose a value, set a value, it will be immediately stored in the background. There is no save button. Let's jump in here. There's a loop. We don't need to explain this, it should be here. But you, maybe a good idea, if you come to this, it would be great at least to mention that some of these options you can loop over them, like the items. If there's more than one item, then they can loop. And the content here will be looped one after the other. And the item variable, this is defined here, will be replaced then next with on each round with the existing purchased item. Yeah, and this is, maybe this is also good to be placed, copy paste into the description for this. Then we have the validator form for ticket. This is the ticket validator I mentioned before already. And they have also some labels. You can change them here, changing colors and so on, to make it more look like your theme of the WordPress. They can be added here. We have validation message if they're using the validator form. For tickets, it's not really that often used. Often it makes no sense to validate ticket numbers. And then you can add all the messages here. You can change them to your needs, and that's it. The owner can say only logged in users. This means only allowed WordPress users that are logged in can enter a ticket number for validation. Otherwise, the ticket validator is free for all, and once the URL is set up, there's a shortcode. You need the shortcode to activate this in your page. Once the shortcode is added to a page, everybody has access to this validator except this is activated, and of course there's an error message in case they're not logged in. Then the premium feature to track the IPs, and they can activate the options to track people who are using the ticket validator. And because the ticket scanning is typically done by the employees or the event organizer, so this is for the validator. Then we have the IP tracker for downloading a PDF once they're clicking on the download, and for the single PDF, for the all-in-one PDF, for the calendar file. And it's also possible for bigger events, makes sense, that they track which IP address was basically really scanning a ticket with a ticket scanner, so they know which entrance maybe they're using. Then you can track the IP of the user who's using the ticket detail page, and then it will be just logged if this is activated. This information and these information are added to the ticket, also like the download. The first option is added in the table within the admin area, and if you scroll below the it's not activated, but if you scroll below the ticket number table, then there will be a new table for the IP address that are tracked. They can activate a protection with the IP blocker, also a premium feature. Once this is activated, they can the system is tracking the IP addresses and try to prevent brute force attacks if too many requests are coming from the same IP address. They can say do only the checks for non-valid tickets. If this is for the ticket validator. If they validate their tickets, check if the ticket number is legit, then we can only block the IP address from users who are scanning tickets or validating tickets that are not valid. Then they can activate this option. How many tracked IP addresses are allowed? This means how often can they, the number is very low here for testing reasons, how often can they scan or do an operation and have their IP address tracked till and from that point on, how many times they are free to scan or do something before they are blocked. And typically this is, I think, by 5 or 3. Then how long should the block, after how many minutes should the tracked IP be deleted? How long should the tracked IP address be kept? Something that's good is basically something like this. So they have 5 free operations for 1 hour. And then all of the tracked IP addresses are deleted that are older than 60 minutes. Then the amount of minutes blocked for a new request. So once they reach the 6th number, they are going to be blocked for 5 minutes. And this is the message. The user redirect can be activated only in combination with the validation, ticket validator. Once they activate this and the ticket is valid, they can be redirected to any other pages on the WordPress installation or to just a normal page. And then they need to use this HTTPS or HTTP and to make the jump for an absolute domain or URL. Redirect already registered tickets means if this is activated and then they are redirected automatically, the ticket will be registered for them and they can jump. And sometimes if the registered option is activated, of course, if they're registered, the jump will not happen anymore by default, and they can activate this here so that the jump is executed every time. It's very helpful if you have ticket numbers for specific informations. You need additional informations, so they validate their ticket number and they get a jump to another page with much more details. This could be useful. Then the URL, of course, relative or absolute. Double column is missing here. Okay, and then they have placeholders, tags that could be used here. And if you click here, you see all the possible placeholders are here, and they're at the end of the page. That's why I'm not clicking here. Otherwise, it will scroll down, and then you see the whole list. There's a button to validate or to redirect. If the button is there's a button to make the jump of the redirection. If the button label is empty, then the jump will be immediately without waiting for an action of the user. If the label is entered, then the button is displayed and the user has to click on it. They can activate the webhooks. Once they're activated, again, you have a list of the tags, they're the same. Then they can make a call to third-party services. That's the idea behind. To create an URL and to get the additional information from the ticket, they can use these placeholders within the URL in here, just adding them. They will be replaced right before the jump to the server, third-party servers. And this could be used, let's say the user is validating and the ticket is valid, and then they could call a third-party service with the information that this was done. If it's inactive and checked, invalid and checked. If someone is registering their ticket, then a call can be done. If somebody's validating a ticket number, but the registration happened already, you can call a service maybe for some monitoring, inspection, what is going on there. URL to service if the check ticket is valid and marked to be used the first time. So this means the very first time, then this call will be done. Otherwise, the other services are called non-stop. Yeah. So this is the service URL if you say it's marked as used. And it's checked again the second time, then this URL will be called. This is marked, it's not complete. There's a word missing. It should be marked as used and used the first time. Because marked as used is an option. We are going to see this that can be activated. And then we have a bot. If they're using the ticket number, that can be used as a restriction code for other products. As an example, you sell a ticket A, and only if you're owner of ticket A, you are allowed to buy ticket Z next year or so for a special price. Then you type in your ticket number, and as a restriction code, if activated, of course. This can be activated in the product details of WooCommerce. There's a checkbox and they can choose a list or allow any ticket numbers. And if they're using this restriction code, then we can call a web service call to a server, and the URL is this one. Then the URL to a service if the ticket is sold. If the ticket data is set for the ticket number, this means not directly after the purchase, but only when the ticket is finally added to the purchase. Typically, if it's going to be set, if the order is going to be set completed, and then this URL will be called. If it's empty, it's not called, of course. Then if the ticket is redeemed, if somebody is unredeeming a ticket, can be done only within the admin area by an administrator for the plugin, and then this URL will be called. This is typically used by bigger organizers and they want to track the ticket consumption with the third-party solution they have already, and then this is the webhook to their services. URL to a service is the ticket data is removed from a ticket number. This is an option. You need to activate this option first, that the ticket number can be removed. Then it can be removed automatically if the order is set to refund, as an example. Or if an administrator goes to the backend and manually remove the ticket number from an order. Then the URL is valid but expired. This belongs more to the validator. This should be reorganized a little bit higher. But this option is for the validator again. Then URL to use your service. If the validator is expired, then this will be fired. If it's blocked by the IP for the first time, we can call a service. And then if it's still blocked and they're still trying to do requests, then this URL can be called. Then the product ticket assignment. So when is the ticket really assigned to the program itself? They can clear the ticket number if the order was deleted. This means the ticket is free and can be reused. But before you can reuse it, you need to activate the reuse option. I think the default is not to be activated. If you sell a ticket, then the ticket number is like burnt. And if you resell the ticket, the ticket was cancelled and you want to resell it, you go with reuse. If you clear up the ticket number and the reuse is not activated, this ticket number will never be used again, and it's like burnt. And the recommendation is basically to clear the ticket number from the order. But sometimes they are just closing the ticket, say refund or cancel, and the ticket number is burnt, but there's unlimited ticket numbers, so if they will not have a problem. And then they keep the ticket numbers just to have a history, what was happening with this ticket number. Then reusing the ticket, yes, same wording. So if they free up tickets, they can reuse. But sometimes they are not freeing up tickets. But you can create ticket numbers up front in the admin area, and you can create, let's say, 100,000 ticket numbers for a special event. And if you activate the reuse ticket from the ticket list, then the ticket list that is assigned to a product will be searched first for a ticket number that is not taken to or not set to have an order already, and the first that is free will be taken for the next order. If none is found, then a new ticket will be generated. This is more for housekeeping. Then do not print the ticket number, CVV. This is a special number you can add to your ticket numbers, only possible if you create the ticket numbers up front. Then you can add also a CVV number, similar to the credit card control number, so that somebody who has the ticket and wants to validate the ticket, they need also the CVV number. This is helpful if you sell tickets over the counter and the CVV number is printed on the back of the ticket, so that people who are just watching you buying a ticket cannot steal the ticket number. Do not print the ticket number CVV on the PDF invoice. Instead of the ticket, this is then the invoice PDF. The invoice WooCommerce PDF, there's a special plugin, only one plugin that we are supporting for now, that is generating PDFs as an invoice with the WooCommerce purchase, and I'm injecting the CVV number and the ticket number into this invoice plugin. Do not put the ticket in the emails and to the customer. Then the ticket number is not added for the customer, and they do not have the ticket number. And this is more for events with speakers, so they're going to the desk, they say, hey, look, I bought it, my name is Detlef, and then they're looking for Detlef and give them the badge and so on. Do not print the PDF, the ticket on the PDF, same, but this time again on the invoice plugin. Set the ticket number format. They can activate this as a global option, and they can always override this with the ticket list, has the same option, and they can override the ticket list also with the number format pattern on the product itself. And they can choose a prefix that will be added to the ticket number. Then they can say, I need 30 letters, exclude some letters, have a letter style, this means uppercase, lowercase, or both. Then if you choose both, you increase the amount of possible numbers that are ticket numbers that are created, and the ticket numbers do not need to be numbers. They can have also just letters, or you say both of them. You can delimit them, that's just a visual effect. And if you say yes, delimiter, and then say it's okay. After every 10 letter, add the delimiter. The ticket number can be read with or without the delimiter. They are just a display. And the ticket number itself will be also stored without this option, so that the database has both values. The one is more for human reading and the other one for the system. Ticket display number to your login users. This is the user or the site owner can create a page, copy this short code and add this on a page if they do not want to have this on the profile. And then on this page you have a header, a title. Yeah, this is your ticket numbers or your ticket numbers, and then after this all the ticket numbers are listed. It's exactly the same functionality that is used also on the user profile we discussed before. Display the prefix text, this one here. Display this always. This is useful to not confuse the user. If they're confused, I don't see where my ticket numbers are, and then they can activate this, and then the label will be there, so they know they do not have any ticket numbers. The label is visible, otherwise nothing would be displayed. And this is just a separator, so if you have more than one ticket, then this is the separator that can be chosen to separate the ticket numbers, comma separated, semicolon, or whatever they have in their mind. There's a QR generator. They can generate QR code images for their ticket numbers to have them copy paste for their own needs. This is for the administrator. They can create an additional an additional QR code with any URL, and using again all the normal placeholder tags and creating a URL, and maybe copy paste this QR code somewhere else. It's not part of the ticket, it's just for their own usage. Let me show you how it looks. So here's a demo system with some fantasy tickets. Let's open one that is like this one here. And then this is the detail view of the ticket in the admin area, admin detail view. And we see some additional informations and some options to download some elements, like here opening the tickets and so on, P address lists and so on. They have more features in here. And the QR code I was talking about is this one here. If they click on this, they're basically generating a QR code that uses the URL they were adding on the backend. Helpful or not, I don't know. It was requested. There it is. It's added in here. This is with the public number. This is with the normal ticket number. The public number is the only ticket number that can be scanned with the ticket scanner. This is for their own usage. And you see also display QR with URL to PDF. They can also have the real QR code that is also added. No, it's something else, sorry for confusion. This is a QR code that is basically used to have a URL that is redirecting to the PDF of the ticket itself, if they want to display this. Okay, back. So here, this is for the QR code. Then add the ticket QR code to the full URL to the ticket scanner with the public ticket ID. This is for, again, bigger events, and they want to use their own tickets, they want to use their own scanner, QR code reader or so. Then instead of just the public ticket number, they will have the full URL added to the QR code, so that their own that their own scanning systems can make the redirect. And they have their own scanner, and then they're jumping just with this software to this ticket. Attach the QR image to the purchase email. This is for faster entrance. If they're buying 5 tickets, they have the tickets as a PDF, of course, everything is there. They can additionally activate just a QR code image to the purchase email, and then at the entrance, if they have 4 tickets, it's much faster. They're opening the email, they click on the image, scanning. Additional to the order detail view, that is basically doing exactly the same, just displaying this on a web page. So we have features that are not double, but some kind of double within the system. Then we can attach the QR code as a PDF, not as an image. This is the big difference. This will be a PNG or JPEG, I forgot, and this will be a PDF. And of course they can say, please attach all the QR codes as one single PDF. If they're buying 10 tickets, they have just one PDF. They open the PDF, and then they're scrolling, scan. This is again also for faster entrance, so that they can scan this. It's like with airplane. If you board the plane and you have family with you, then one has all the tickets in there, scanning for everybody, and they're running in. To have also the possibility to do these others. Then we have the expiration validity check, and this is the premium feature. Once they're activated, you can say how long is the ticket valid. This can also be overwritten by the list and of course by the product itself. So you can product with and without expiration dates. And this is for season pass as an example, or for club membership card, 1 year valid, 30 days, something like this. Set the expiration date for old restriction codes too. This is a fallback option. If they used registration codes, the ticket number that can be restriction codes, a ticket number that can be used as a restriction code to purchase another ticket or another product, then they can set this expiration date also. Also for them, if they expire. It's written here, if active, this will update the expiration date on codes that have been already successfully validated. It was needed once I added this feature, and I had requests to say, hey, what is with my old tickets? I want them to be also behave the same way, and if they have old tickets, they can activate this, and then also the old codes, the old tickets will be checked, and a validation date will be added. Expiration date will be added. Set expiration date for purchase codes immediately. This means once they're buying this, the expiration date will be used immediately and set. This should be activated if they have membership cards or something like this. Otherwise, the expiration starts with the first time you validate the code. This means you enter the first time the room, scanning, and from that point on 30 days. This depends strongly on what kind of tickets they are selling. And this is something that's confusing for the people, and we need to help them to understand this a little bit better. Now first check, otherwise we'll start to add the code, the days to the code. If you read code, this is an old word, I need to remove them. Code means ticket number. Use end time, set on product to determine the expiration date. There you can add optional event start time and event end time, and this is then used to calculate the expiration date if it's really important for them. Most of the time they're using days, not hours, but sometimes they need a 24-hour pass, and then this option could be used. to make sure that it's really a 24-hour pass. Or a pass that is from the beginning of the event for a additional amount of days till the end of the event. Also helpful if you have a festival that is going over 3 days or 2 days, then you can say expiration in 2 days on the product, and then they can use this feature here. Branding, if they really want, if they really want to remove my branding, it's a very small sentence on the tickets to display the URL for this plugin. Then they can activate this here and it will be removed from the ticket. Only a premium feature. Yeah. But obviously I would love all of them have the same not activate, this deactivated. This button is the last one. If they click on this, all the options are resetted to the default values. Yeah, so please don't click on this if you're not sure. The user shouldn't click on this if they're not sure, because there's so many options, maybe they don't remember what they need to change or changed already. It's planned, not for now, but it's planned to have a history of all the options and also a rollback for the history. But this is coming later, much later in version. Here you see the replacement tags that can be used, and there are some more, but I don't want to mention them yet. They're not fixed, but basically if you see how it's structured and if you export your tickets, you see immediately what you could create as an additional replacement text. But these are the most requested one there in here. Link to documentation. That's it. I hope this is enough to get a start, and if you have questions, feel free to contact me.